You are listening to the Parkflyer podcast, where we discuss our RC adventures.
Welcome to the Parkflyer podcast, where we discuss the ups and downs of the new RC Flyer. Join your hosts, Michael and Jay, as they take flight at the park. Now on with the show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Parkflyer podcast. I'm Michael from Arizona, and with me always are my good friends.
Jay from the hills, Texas.
And Shannon G in Mesa AZ.
Welcome
Wyatt
to There you go, Wyatt. There, I was going to say, welcome to 2025. We got Wyatt with us. Wyatt flies out at Shannon's Field and has agreed to join us for our intro into our 10th season. Holy smokes, man. Where's time gone? It's crazy. We've had a lot of ups and downs in the RC world, and this is not one of them. So we're excited about having another season. Everything was working, which is good. You know, it's always when we start the year, we're always kind of questioning whether all of our equipment is working, but I think everybody made it through the holidays. So, which brings me to really quick, Shannon, did you get any special gifts for Christmas? Anything that jumps out?
My daughter bought me a Lego Millennium Falcon. That was pretty cool.
There you go. Can't
Hey.
fly it, but that's good enough. We're all good with that.
That's good enough. Well, hey,
Wow.
build it around a quad. I'm sure I could fly it. What the heck? You know?
That's true. You put it on something. Well, we are going to wish you best of luck with the Castle Run and see if you can do it in 4 parsecs or whatever. Beat
11. If I do
11
11
parsecs.
I beat
11
the record. Yeah.
What about you, Jay? Did you get any Christmas gifts for you?
Let's see. I'd say only was more of a like I said, I was working on my laser and I got it all working, so that's
Very good.
pretty nice. So
Yeah.
you know,
So now we're going to start whipping out some RC parts.
yes, I am.
Uh,
That's the
new-
idea.
The new 3D printer showed up at my house, and yep, I'm going to be pumping out some 3D stuff. I'm all excited about looking at some of the files that Eric has and see if I can, print some out, because it's a fairly large printer. It's a Neptune 4, so it's got a 330 by 330 millimeter build plate, so it's pretty big. So we're excited about that as well. So, Wyatt, did you get any Christmas gifts?
I got some stuff, not RC related, unfortunately.
Well,
But
that's
okay.
fair enough. That's
some
fair
good
enough.
clothes and
Yeah. Well, very, very good. Well, we're excited. Everybody made it through the holidays. Welcome once again to 2025, our 10th season. And we are super excited for this year. We've got a lot of events coming up. First event, I think, coming up is Winter Warbirds. That's over at my field here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's always been a good, good event. And as long as the weather stays, fairly decent, we've got a lot of people from California, and I think my buddy Scott Berryman, he's coming out from Colorado. So we get Colorado, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada,
Washington, Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon. So we get a lot of people from all over, and that's an exciting few days with those guys. So we're looking forward to that. And then the next weekend, we have the Arizona Electric Festival.
Yay.
Yeah,
Big
so that's
wait.
21st anniversary. 21st annual.
21st.
Yeah.
Look at that. So I think, Wyatt, you'll be there, right? And you'll be flying
Of
some
course I
stuff at
will.
Electro Festival. So we're excited about that. And then what anything on the Electro Festival you want to let us in on, or is you going to still keep it all secret till next week?
No, we'll squeeze a little bit in. So with the 21st, we're going to try to do a few new things.
Okay.
Something we'll talk about down the road is we always do an EF1 demo, but there's a new racing class that we're going to try and get enough of the planes together to do a demo. We're probably going to get enough of and you have one of these, Mike, the big T28s, and do like a T28, kind of like a staged race. I think we'll kind of, not full bore racing, but just, get 5 or 6 of them in the air. And okay, hey, you take the lead for a little bit. Okay, back off. You take the lead for a little bit. Kind of play around with it and make that fun for the crowd. But other than that, we're working on sponsorships. James Lashman's my co-CD, and we've got a lot of our regulars are going to be out there. We'll have a Superstition Hobbies. I already talked to them. They'll be out there. Of course, Paul from House of Balsa Zap. E-Power's coming back, and I'm sure we'll have a few more live on site. But just really looking forward to it, and we'll get more as we're getting close. But February 7th, 8th, and 9th, Mesa, Arizona is the place to be. So hope to see you all out there.
Absolutely.
I know I'll see you guys all out there.
Yes. And then right after that, we have the Warbirds and Classics out at Sun Valley again. And then I got this flyer. It says Tucson Jet Rally. That's in March
Yes.
20 through 23rd. It's 2025. So yeah, it's they got RV parking and everything. So we're looking at quite a few events right off the bat in the first quarter of 2025. So we're hoping to touch base with all of those places and kind of pull our podcast through some of those guys. So we're all excited. If you are new to listening to us, then welcome. We always appreciate your patronage, and we're always looking for comments and questions and let us know your thoughts. Our YouTube channel, if you haven't subscribed or given us a thumbs up, it does help our channel grow, and it has been growing, and we are excited about that. So having said all that, we do like having special guests on. And Wyatt, we do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to kind of join us. I know you were at the field earlier and said, "Holy smokes, I'm supposed to be somewhere." What were you
Yeah,
flying out at the
barely made it.
field? Yeah, barely made it. We were waiting. It
Yeah,
wasn't a
we were
problem.
good.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So what were you flying out the field? Just
Uh, we just brought some of our jets, Freewing F-18,
yeah.
FMS Sukhoi 27 that I brought
Mhm.
out to the Electric Fest last year.
You're
That
award
was
winning.
that was
Yeah,
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 you
award winning
won an award
Sukhoi.
with that, didn't you? Yeah.
get some
Very-
practicing. But
Yeah, there you go.
other than that,
That,
the normal stuff.
very cool. So, do you have any projects you're working on or putting stuff together?
So I'm trying to dial in my 3D printer, but we started working on an F-117 twin 40 millimeter.
Ooh,
Very
That's going to be
nice.
a fun
Nice.
project. Like I said, we have that 787 that we're working
Okay.
on. So
Yeah.
we're kind of prototyping with that right now. We're just using foam board and getting a fuselage just
Mhm.
put together. But other than that, we're taking crash planes from people, putting them back together and making them work again.
Yeah. That's always exciting doing that. You can actually talk to Jay. That whole group behind him is a lot of crashed airplanes that need to be put together.
Actually, today we took a crashed. It was the Freewing Twin 64 F-14. We took a crashed one and rebuilt it from the ground up, pretty much. Did some
Really?
fiberglass, and I flew it today, and it flew great. So we're gonna make it pretty again.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
You do a little painting and get it all
Mhm.
stickered up to look good, huh?
Yeah.
So did you was it you it's all foam and did you foam the fiberglass or did you carve out
So
a piece? Like did you cut the foam off and just make how'd you do that?
so what we really did, um, we use CA. So basically dryer sheets, and actually,
Yep,
if you use the dryer sheets, they turn into kind of a solution. So if you lay the
correct.
dryer sheets down on the foam and do CA and do a couple coats and cut off the excess, it performs very similar to fiberglass. So it worked really well
Nice.
actually,
Cool.
Yeah,
because
that's
from the gear buckling, I mean, going it's from a bad landing, it broke and it buckled the foam. So we use that
okay.
fiberglass to put it back together, basically.
And it's a EPO foam or EPP
Yeah,
foam?
EPO.
EPO. Okay. Did you use any steam to kind of try to straighten it out first at all or?
Not really, honestly. We kind of had to take some stuff apart, so we took those retracts out and put new ones in that were the problem in the first place,
Mhm.
and we just kind of had to reshape it. So we molded it a little bit, but overall, it's flat now and it flew great. So
Wow. That's
Nice.
pretty exciting. It's always exciting to take something that has been kind of roughed up and then make it look just as good or fly is just as good as when you bought it. So
Or
yeah,
better
and-
sometimes.
or better sometimes. Yeah,
oh,
I've
I
had
love doing that. That's my
I've had
favorite.
stuff in there. Very very cool. Well, how did you wind up with the F-14? Somebody give it to you?
So it was actually one of the guys at our field. He had a really bad landing. That plane is notorious for being very,
Yeah.
very floaty.
Yes.
So there's a long story behind that. We've had that one for about 6 months, I'll say. We bought it off of him wrecked. We rebuilt it, and then I flew it the first time, and I had to abort a landing because it was floaty, and I had a bad battery in it, and the battery died and went straight in the ground. So
Oh no.
after my accident, we went in and rebuilt it and did the fiberglass, and now it flies again. So
Very nice. That's very nice.
So it's on
Well,
its third
I'm.
life now of 9.
Hopefully,
It's like a cat.
hopefully it'll last this time.
Well, it's a tomcat.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is a
There you go.
tomcat, so it's
There
got
you go.
9
Genius.
lives.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
that's
thinking
funny.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Hopefully I don't have to use all 9 though.
no.
Yeah, no doubt. That's funny. Well, how'd you find out about the dryer sheets?
Um, Honestly, there's a couple of guys at our field that they're really into rebuilding crash
Yep.
planes, just like we started doing. We
Sure.
took some tips from them and tried them, and they worked.
Yeah. That's a old school deal. We
Yeah,
JJ and I've been using dryer sheets for years.
Oh,
And
yeah.
my
Same
wife's
here.
always like, "Have to stick a hole." That she just throws them in the trash can. I go out there and steal them, and then you go over there.
that's
But
what
you
we
can use
did.
Minwax too, believe it or not. I've
Really?
used that. Yep, the polyurethane Minwax. And then if you put Minwax on it, or at least like what you've done, if you kind of put a coat of Minwax, you can sand it and paint it. When you paint it, it looks like gloss. It puts like a gloss coating on it. But you put too much on there, it does add weight. So you just got to be careful not painting your whole airplane. I did a bat mobile wing, or what do they call it, the bat wing, and
Mhm.
made one of those, and actually flew it at the electric festival one year, and we had put so much stuff on the bottom of it that it had a hard time getting airborne. It flew, but it didn't fly well. Flew much better without all of the Minwax on it when I first started it, because it
But it
was
was
all blue
solid.
core stuff. It was solid, and it hit the ground. It just made a dent in the ground. So, well, that's very, very cool. Well, how long have you been in the hobby,
About two
Wyatt?
years now. My
2
dad,
years?
he started the hobby when he was really young with a slow
Mhm.
stick, and that
Yep.
that sparked it for him. But after that, he didn't have the time for it. We
Mhm.
started with RC cars, so that was the introduction to the RC, just the hobby in general.
Mhm.
But over time, we started to shift, and we looked at a E-flite apprentice.
Yep.
And after flying that for the first time, I just knew that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So here we are, 2 years later.
Yeah. And now you're flying
Yeah,
EDFs, and, do you fly any
EDFs.
3D stuff? Yeah.
We're being introduced to turbines pretty soon here. So
Ooh,
Very
nice.
nice. There's one right there sitting on, that's a turbine right there sitting, on
L39
the
looks like.
it's not mine, it belongs to someone else, but I was putting it together for him. But yeah, those are kind of, addicting once you start flying them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really super fun, and they sound great, and they perform really
Oh
well
yeah.
too. So they're really kinda very, very
I've
cool.
flown them, but we're getting into making them our own.
Nothing wrong with that. So what,
Yep.
what is the most favorite airplane in your collection?
Ooh, that's a hard one. There's quite a few. That Sukhoi, like I talked about, that's
Mhm.
just it's such a scale plane and it flies so great. It just tracks straight through the sky.
Yeah,
There's
who
no
makes that?
turbulence whatsoever.
Who
I'd
makes the
say that's
Sukhoi?
It's an
sorry. It's
FMS.
close.
FMS.
Oh,
Yes,
it's
the
an
FMS.
FMS Sukhoi? Okay.
Hmm.
You'd say that's your
Um,
favorite?
it's hard. It's I can't choose favorites because there's
Yeah.
so many.
Right,
Yeah.
There's so
yeah.
many
My
to
favorite's
choose
the
from.
plane that I'm flying at the time. That's my
That's
favorite
Yeah,
it.
plane.
That's a favorite plane. I
that's
actually
that's the
break
short
I
answer.
break mine down into, like, I have, like, my favorite 3D airplane, I have my favorite glider airplane, I have my favorite EDF, and then my favorite turbine. So it's, and it kinda manifests itself over time. People will walk in there and they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I see you have a lot of these." And I go, "That's because I really like that airplane." So
Yeah,
it is fun. And I do find myself flying some airplanes more than others, so I would have a tendency to say those are more of my favorite because I enjoy flying them, where others are fun to fly, but you're just kinda on edge, like, "I hope nothing goes wrong with this airplane, because there's nothing to fix it." 'Cause I have
Yeah.
an Element 3D that's, like a pattern airplane, and it's been crashed a bunch of times, thanks to, we won't mention any names, but their initials are J. Neely. But it's crashed a few times, and I've crashed a few times, but they don't make it anymore. So, and it's all balsa wood, so even getting a kit or anything is very difficult. So, I think there's an advantage. This whole industry is going to this foam, injected foam mold, or injected molded foam. And at first I thought, nah, you know what, that's terrible because if you crash it or whatever, it just destroys it. But now that I look back at all of my foam airplanes that I've crashed or at least fixed, and what Wyatt was talking about, how easy it is, um, you know, to kind of make foam your, you know, your boss, make foam the boss. You better be the boss of the foam, and get it fixed. And the technology that have come a long way to where you can mold it, or shave it, or sand it, and the types of foam that are coming out, that styrofoam beer cooler stuff that we started with way back in the
Oh, that was
day.
horrible.
Oh my gosh, GWS, you'd be flying a thing and it just go look like
It,
popcorn coming out of the
yep,
Yeah.
sky because
the
there's
sky.
nothing left of it. So, but then to have EPP foam, which is what they pack your large screen television in, and to make it into an airplane that actually flies and actually has some resilience. Some of those companies out there, Jay sent me something on somebody had a flying wing where they flew it into a brick wall, and it bounced off, picked it up, and flew it again. So
Yep.
I do think there's advantages, and then for Wyatt being at a younger age, learning how to fix the foam and get it back to where he needs, where it needs to be to fly it, is a great skill that, has been lost because so many people crash it and then they go, well, I'll just get a new one. So kudos to you, Wyatt, because I think it takes a lot of, interest in the hobby, and a lot of talent to be able to take something, from wrecked and make it look and fly the way it should. So good for you. That's good. I'm proud to hear that you're
Yeah.
kind of sticking it out. That you like to do
Thank
that.
you.
It's very, very fun.
Yeah. Well, Wyatt's one of our younger members of the club, and you know, as you guys all know, the biggest challenge is getting the youth in these days because there's so many other
Sure.
things. There's computers, and
Hmm.
if we can get them in, I don't care if we get them in with drones. That's the same thing to me, and in the
Sure.
grand scheme of things. But Wyatt, have you tried to get some of your friends in, or what's been some challenges you've kind of seen being in that space?
So a lot of time people there's there's kids everywhere that don't have hobbies and don't have anything to do. I
Yeah.
feel like just trying to get into the hobby, watching it, it inspires you a little bit. That's how we got
Sure.
into it, watching the big turbines. I feel like the hobby introduces you to you have so many opportunities just from flying, meeting all
Mm.
the people at a local club. Um, it definitely it gives you a big advantage. You have lots of hands-on experience. Um, it helps you with life because when you meet so many people and try so many different things, it can help you kind of change your trajectory where what you want to do, and it helps you
Hmm.
be successful because you get all these good traits so early on.
That is
That's a great
true.
great
Very
outlook
true.
on that. I like
That
I
is a
like I
great
like
outlook.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many younger group, or the younger group, do you think are with you, or I mean, how many guys do you have like that you fly with in your age group? A
One
lot,
really,
a little, one,
one
just
of my friends, he moved to New York. He was more into
mm,
it. He has the
mhm,
same outlook on it that I do.
mhm,
A lot there are some people my age that fly, but they don't have the same outlook. They'll fly just because they
right,
want something fast and fun, but they don't have the same outlook that you're getting all these traits and you're getting all these opportunities from it.
sure.
So
Well, I mean, I understand that that is a little bit different. Some, especially in today's world. I mean, everybody wants an immediate satisfaction. That's why you can open up a box, put a motor on the front, go fly it. Where back in our day, Jay and I had to grow a tree, chop it down, whittled out the wood, put it all together. you know, it was like it wasn't some quick thing where you just go to the store, or Amazon drops it at your front door and you're flying that afternoon.
Yep. You shake the
Now
box and the
we
plane
like
falls out.
Yeah, exactly. We like that now because we're old and we don't really want to spend years and years of doing stuff. But I think a good idea would be, especially if we've got a several younger guys at the electric festival, we should have a noon demo of just the young guys going out flying. That would be kind of cool, just to have a whole flight line of younger kids up there and flying, and just show their capability and their skill levels. Because I'm telling you, Jay and I've been doing this, and even Shannon with us have been doing this for a long time, since we were your age. And I mean, the kids nowadays, your age group nowadays, far exceeds our skill level in like the shortest amount of time. So I don't know if that has to do with just the fact that your generation grew up on electronics or some stuff that was working fast, but Man, it took me years to figure out how to fly, and get a skill level that was good enough to watch you kids come in here and, do it like just like it's nothing. So I'm very impressed with, the capability that you guys have to catch on to this, to be able to, stay in the hobby and be able to make it, exciting and fun for everyone else. Maybe we can do that. We can have 'em. Then what we ought to do is get, you and a couple other guys to take over the podcast for the electric
Yeah, there
festival.
we
Give
go.
us a yeah, they
Yeah, we'll just
just
go
do a
fly.
little yeah, let us go fly and then
The
let
only
them
problem
take
is getting people my age to do it. A lot of time, people don't want to get up and try something new because, say, people who play video games like as a hobby,
Mhm.
they don't want to go out and try something new. But going from video games to flying, you have that hand-eye coordination. You kind of have
Right.
that quick response time. I think it would help. But I think the thing that's going to help get people into the hobby more or
Mhm.
get people my age group into it is advertising it a little bit on social media because that's where they spend all their time. So if they see it like that and they kind of
Yeah.
have an impression level, maybe it'll help introduce people to it. That's what I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that before you came
We
on
were.
about how
Mhm.
much, we've taken it a couple notches, in the last year or so, but like you're saying, we really want to take it a lot higher notch wise as to like I said, I just joined Blue Sky. That's kind of one of the newer platforms. But we got TikTok, Instagram. Hopefully, I have TikTok. Who knows? It sounds like it might go away. I don't
Yeah.
know, but
Who
whatever.
knows?
But there's, of course, we have a YouTube channel. But yeah, if we can get more and and gear it towards, hey, you don't need to be a rocket scientist, and it's okay to leave the house. You can have just as much fun, doing this, and it's
Right.
it's almost like it's it's in real time. That's what I try to when people say,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's just like a video game." Like, no, it's you can feel it.
Right.
It's you see it, you feel it. It definitely transmits through the senses. So
Yeah. What do you think the biggest fear is for the youth to make that jump from sitting in front of an Xbox playing similar flying games to actually going out and flying?
I think it's spending the time to do something because on an Xbox or something, you're playing a game, you can just save it
Mhm.
and leave and do something else. When you're
Right.
flying, you have to you can't just stop in the air, obviously. You have to
Right.
be paying attention, you have to communicate with people, you have to
Mhm.
make sure you're watching your plane, obviously, and you have to push
Mhm.
yourself a little bit. So sometimes
Hmm.
there's little risks to it, but I think if they would see it and get up and try it, they would they would understand it a little bit more, and
Yeah.
maybe it would give us an introduction.
Do you think that your interest in the hobby stems somewhat from your father's interest as well? Do you think that there's a disconnect from the kids that want to do it, maybe the parents don't? Or do you think that, you know, that it's just that the parents aren't as supportive? Or could they be more supportive? I mean,
For me personally, it was my dad. If I'm just gonna be honest, if he wouldn't have looked into that apprentice, or if he wouldn't
mhm,
have shown me those videos, I probably wouldn't be flying it. He
right.
had the flying spark his whole life. I think going off of that and him introducing me to it and showing me the possibilities and um, the different opportunities I have to be successful and to have a different career path because that totally changed what I wanted to do. Now I want to fly. Now that's what I want to do in my life. So I really
Yeah.
think him introducing me to it and letting me be hands on and let me build stuff, let me fly, it really helped. So
Yeah. Huh. I'm not wondering, in my back in my day, a million years ago, my mom, kind of did the same thing where she got me involved in a model of the month club, so testers would send me an airplane model every month. And
mhm.
yeah, it was cheap back then, I think, it wasn't $50 like it is today, but that kind of sparked my interest and love in the building portion of it too. So I think that that's lacking in a lot of youth today is that it's kind of like what Wyatt said. You can just put your life on pause on Xbox, turn around and come back, and pick up right where you left off. Where this actually requires me to put a little bit more, effort into it, and sometimes that can be scary. especially when you're young, you don't know where to get started. But well, we would like to challenge you to kind of, put this out there. You've been on the podcast now and share it with a bunch of your friends. And, we'd love to hear back from you as far as, what we can do to help, kind of bring more of the youth in. That's always, we're always looking to, make the hobby better. And if we can give back, we'd love to do that. Um,
Yeah.
it's exciting. And then, as far as a career path, are you looking at a career path in aviation, or are you just looking at something RC world, or where do
In
you see yourself going from
aviation for
here?
sure. I
What do you
started
think?
with Commemorative Air Force with that's a Houston thing. I fly up to Houston over the summer for a couple weeks and I work
Oh,
with them. The
very
other thing
nice.
is my dad's whole side of the family pretty much was into aviation. My grandma's a hot air balloon pilot.
Oh,
So
nice.
going from her, she has a lot of connections with people. I
Yeah.
work with a guy in Houston for a couple weeks usually, and he runs a repair shop for pretty much everything. And he lets me fly his gyrocopter and his sport cruiser. That's where I logged most of my original hours. But my dad got me into flight school now, so we're working on that. So I think
Yeah.
that's what I want to do. I want to really. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of different ways you can fly, and a lot of
Mhm.
different ways. There's a lot of different careers you can have that still do the same thing. So
It's
I
true.
think that's what I want to do in whatever case it may be. Really,
Yeah. So are you taking flight lessons now, you think?
I'm starting pretty soon. I've done a couple
Yeah.
intro flights, so
Yeah. How old are you again?
14.
14. Okay. So you're starting really young. But that's good. That is very, very good. Well, I'll
I
tell
have
you what, you can keep in touch with me. And when do you turn 15?
November next year.
Oh, all the way in November. So you just turned 14, didn't you?
Yeah,
So, all right. Well, cool. All right. Well, touch base with me at the Electric Festival. Maybe we'll make arrangements and I might be able to get you a flight in a really cool airplane. I
I'm good
know a
with it.
guy.
I know a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah, I know that same
I know
guy.
a guy who knows a guy who knows a
I know that
guy.
guy.
How's
He
that,
hasn't.
right?
And he
I
owes
know
him a
that same
big
guy.
favor.
He hasn't offered me that. All good.
Oh, that's true. All right.
That's
Well, maybe we can
okay.
get Shannon. Shannon knows a guy that
No,
can get the guy.
I'll
But
give
yeah, no,
Wyatt
it's
my spot. Wyatt's earned it.
well
I'll
for
give
the
Wyatt my spot.
we'll get you up there. That's right. That's kind of fun. Well, very cool. We are kind of excited that you're able to join us. Would love to have you back. Feel free to to touch base with us, and would like to to hear a little bit about your interest into turbines, and maybe talk to you some more about where this career path is taking you, and at least in the hobby, what we can do to make our social media a little bit better, and gain some of that those listeners that are more in your age group. So it's
Maybe we
very
can
exciting.
father and son on the AEF show because they'll both be
Yeah,
there. I think that'll be
maybe
cool.
so. We
Yeah,
could do that. Yeah. Like I said, we can give them the mic and let them kind of talk about it. Give us a break. Give us a
sounds
chance to
good.
go fly. I got so much work I got to do. I got the Cessna to get ready and a bunch of other stuff that I've got to make sure is all ready to go. And I only got like 30 days to do it. So it seems like the whole world's like, pulling me in all these directions, trying to get me to go. So, are you getting anything new to bring to the Electric Festival wide, or you bringing this stuff out that you just normally fly?
Probably the same stuff. I'm gonna try and
Same
get
stuff.
that Nighthawk done before the festival because
That's very
I
cool.
really really want to fly that there. That'll be really
Now,
cool.
are you scratch building that, or
Yeah,
you got plans, or it's from a kit?
I have plans for it, but
Okay,
yeah.
good plan. And
Cool.
you're building it
Um,
out of foam or fiberglass?
it's 3D printed.
Oh, 3D printed. That's even better.
Yep.
You did say that. You said
Yep.
you're
That
Sure did.
787. That's the one that we're doing foam.
oh,
So
gotcha. Well, very, very cool. Well, that's pretty exciting. You're going to have to keep us informed, and we're going to put Shannon on making sure he stays on top of that, so we can have you back and see how that's coming. And we're looking forward to seeing you at the Electric Festival, both you
I'll be there.
and your dad. And yeah, definitely come hang out with us, and we'll put you on the show again. And once again, we have a YouTube channel out there, Parkflyer Podcast, and give us a like, a thumbs up, subscribe, helps our channel grow. We try to keep our episodes down to 30 minutes, so we're out of time. But thank you so much, Wyatt, for joining us, and thank you for
Of
breaking off
course.
your your fun factor over there at the club and running home to catch us. We appreciate you, and looking forward to it. So, well, I am looking forward to a new year, and I'm Michael from Arizona.
And I'm Jay from the hills of Texas.
And Shannon G here in Mesa AZ.
I can go.
I think Wyatt once again. There you go. All
We'll have to
he's
work on
got
that.
it going down. Wyatt,
I'll work.
we'll work on it. All right, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
That's fine.
You have been listening to the Parkflyer podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to your next visit. Please give our show a star rating and review, and feel free to email us your questions, topics, or suggestions to parkflyerpodcast@gmail.com.